This is the lengths people will go to when they're mad that they can't have sex with you when they thought they were going to finally have a chance. And another thing I could say is I don't really understand what it is with people and this idea that they have to keep it a secret when they're manipulating or straight up assaulting somebody who's under 18, but then once the person's 18, then it's okay to rape them or do whatever to them. I don't really get that either. Although at the end of the day, they're only mad at me because I agree with the lady, because due to the fact that I agree with her, they now know that they're not going to get to do at least not anything that I agreed to that they thought they were going to get to do eventually. Because, of course, when you're in situations like this, what people think, well, not even just homelessness, but like even when people are still living with their abusive family, people think all they have to do is get around you for a little while, talk to you, give you drugs, or sneak and give you drugs, or tell you about how you don't deserve any of the things that are happening to you and how they're going to take care of you. And then they're eventually going to get to have sex with you or do whatever in the world. Which, honestly, I don't really understand why in situations where people aren't showering for months and months on end. I don't even know why anybody wants to have sex with anybody, to be honest. But, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And to be truthfully honest, if you're gonna run around looking for pedos, I feel like the homeless community is the worst place to do that. You might as well at least look for somebody that has something if you're gonna do some ritualistic bullcrap like that, but of course you shouldn't. But it's just like the irony of wanting somebody to take care of you and play a parent role, but finding that person in the homeless community instead of somebody that like has a house or something. That defeats the purpose if you already putting yourself at risk. But I guess maybe the idea is that if the pedo or predator person has a house, then they could like lock you in there or something. But if they're homeless, you don't have to worry about that. I guess maybe that's some people's mindset. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to like find an explanation to it. So anyway, here's what happened today. I was leaving the free chili dinner, the first dinner I've actually been able to make it to, because I can't go to any of the other ones because dogs always try to attack me. And so, walking past there, back to the charging station, which is a charging station with some solar panels, is the skate park. So I decided to just go by there for a few seconds to see if they have any more fruit cups left from the donations the other day, which of course they didn't, and yeah, there was minimal stuff left. There was a lot of Kool-Aid packs, but I mean, I don't drink Kool-Aid, and that's not food, but I mean, I guess I could pretend it is. But anywho, of course, that same specific dude, the one from the lemon situation that I mentioned about twice before, had told me about how I'm still banned, because he banned me the other day, although he tried to do it when nobody else was around. That's what I noticed. This time people were around, but it was different people from the other day. It was actually a lot of people that I hadn't seen before, other than that one dude that was there for the first time, or at least the first time I've seen him the other day. He was the one who was asking the lady, well, how old are you now and all that stuff. Because, of course, he just didn't like what she was saying, and he just seen the whole thing as a joke. Because the thing is, they want to be able to date whoever they want to date. That's the bottom line. And at the end of the day, places like this are where dysfunctional people pile up in numbers. So, I mean, you can only expect for it to become a predator breeding ground, as well as all the other issues that go on in environments like this. Honestly, I would say it's almost like a more culty and drug-infested version of the projects, but worse. Or no, a more culty, drug-infested version of a trailer park, I would say that. Like the southern ones that are like in the boondocks with all the Confederate flags like that. And then going back to that whole 20 to 21 thing the dude said the other day, to be truthfully honest, well, My ID does, or at least one of the ones I have, does say I'm like 21 due to the whole situation. I don't have anything to prove to anybody because they're mad that they can't have sex with me. And at the end of the day, the second end of the day, that girl is 20. So I mean, all these rules that they're throwing up because they're mad because they think that lady's gonna actually do something about the situation. The situation has probably been going on for years on end, to be honest. None of these laws would actually apply, not laws, none of these rules would actually apply to the person in question, being that girl, because she is those ages, so it wouldn't even make a difference. It's like they're mad because they can't have sex with me, so now they're just trying to like make up a whole bunch of rules that really only apply to me because she's always with him. And since that whole situation, that dude hasn't even been back around, which is exactly why I was saying she shouldn't have said what she said in front of any of them anyway. None of the people around here care about any of that. And another thing is that I forgot to say it, but the minute that lady said that, they probably texted that dude and told him that, so he's probably going to make sure he doesn't come back around here. And another thing is that that one dude that was in the video talking in the background, I forgot about this part. So when I was, wait a minute, I think I'm telling this out of order. When I went to the skate park, he was like, no, I'm messing this up. When the other dude, I'm just gonna call him the lemon dude. When the lemon dude, the same one who said that I was banned, when he said that I was banned and all that bull crap, the other dude who was talking to the lady and it was like, so how old are you? And she was like, yes. He was like, we're peed off about that situation and we're mad as if. And it's like I said, they just want to be able to date whoever they want to date. But the thing is, why are you all mad about somebody else's girlfriend anywhere, quote unquote girlfriend, that they're doing a really bad job keeping it on the down low? But why are you mad about somebody else's girlfriend? They act like they're all sharing her or something, to be honest. And when the dude made the new rules, the lemon dude, I was like, well, how many years have you been here? And he was like, I've been on the planet way longer than you. The usual stuff that jezebelic people do, that whole I'm grown bullcrap, and that's not even what I was talking about. I was actually asking him how long has he been in the slabs, because from what I remember, he said he was kind of new around here, and this was his first time. That girl that they're making all these rules around, even though she is 2021, she's been here for off and on every winter for some years now, longer than he has. So how are you gonna ban her from her spot, pretty much? And then every time she comes, she's with that dude who's like 40. So another reason the rules wouldn't apply to her, because she's coming with him. And yeah, it's just all stupid. Just like the whole drinking thing he's trying to throw up, even though I don't drink or smoke. And I keep telling people that, but of course people always feel mad about that because they really want you to get high or drunk so they can assault you. But anyway, he was trying to act like I'm an alcoholic or something, and like he's trying to protect himself and a whole bunch of stupid stuff. And it's like, you throw up these rules for me and her, but he's the one giving her drinks, even though he being the boyfriend, even though she claims she doesn't drink. And it's just not making any sense. And we're practically in Mexico anyway. So for the notes and the whole situation that went down after I asked about the fruit cups, the lemon dude told me that I could still get whatever I wanted. Somebody else said I could grab some stuff. There wasn't a lot left, to be honest. Honestly, there was nothing left but the really, really rotten stuff, which all of it was pretty old, because that's how donations typically go. Old food is donated, you have to like dig through what's not like really moldy. But yeah, anywho. So after that, the lemon dude was like, you're still banned. And then the other dude, the dude from the video who was like, well, how old are you and all that, he was like, because we're peed off and we're mad about the whole situation. And then the lemon dude kept going on this rant about how I don't want to be responsible if something happens to you. And to be truthfully honest, every time I go somewhere, I've had some paranoid person approach me about how I don't want to be there and about all the different bullcrap that's going to happen to me. Commonly police officers. But the thing is, I have really good discernment. So I know that, for one, these are demons talking out of people. And two, these people who are saying stuff like this, they're warning you about themselves. Like, anytime somebody's really adamant about how old you are and all that, it's just because they want to do something sexual to you. And it's still really weird, though, because, I mean, the reality is nobody's going to jail for, like, assaulting anyone underage, so I don't really know why they get so paranoid, because unfortunately it's a hidden legality. It's like, honestly, you're more likely to be able to go to jail for assaulting someone who's, like, way older, because they actually have rights to report it. But I mean, not that the police care, they still don't care. So the person probably still wouldn't go to jail, but you're more likely to go to jail for assaulting someone older, and that's the unfortunate thing. But as I always say, Freemason, Luciferian, lawyers and judges make the laws. Well, lawyers, judges, and the other people, all those people that make the laws and that quote unquote push the law, they're pro-chomo and anti-humanist. So yeah, that's why things go the way they do. But it's just really weird. So anyway, pretty much when people approach you and say things like this, or they say you really need to tell people how old you are so you don't get anybody in trouble. First of all, I don't even talk to people. So anybody that's getting in trouble is getting themselves in trouble. But yeah, that just means that they want to assault you in some form or fashion, or just do something. They want to do something to you. Maybe not even something sexual, but they want to kill you or something. So I don't want to be responsible if something happens to you. This bar, quote unquote bar, because all of a sudden it's a bar now. This bar is for 21 plus. The other day he said 2021, and then they also keep throwing up this thing about 18 plus, and that's the thing. It kind of reminds me of that situation, the whole cooking with Kai situation that people are talking about, which I'm still kind of confused about. But I did see one of my siblings' husband's friends talking about that, and it was kind of interesting. But it kind of reminds me of how, due to the fact that people were mad at her because they felt like she was going to steal their boyfriends or something, they started lying and saying that she was 17. And to be truthfully honest, there is no difference between somebody that's 17 and 18, 19 anyway. But yeah, so at least with the hidden legalities and the bullcrap with the laws anyway, they started telling people that she was 17 just to try to make people feel some type of way about watching her videos. That's what this kind of reminds me of, because it's like now all the predatory people are mad. And the thing is, why are you guys mad at me? Because it really just seems like they're mad they want to get with her, they're mad they want to get with me, but that wouldn't happen with me. But they act like they're sharing her. That's what I keep saying. I really don't understand why they're so mad about somebody else's girlfriend anyway. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, so he keeps talking about some 18 plus, 20 plus, 21 plus. He's switching up too much. That's not a bar anyway, and I don't even drink. And the thing is, what people do in situations like this is they slip stuff in people's drink, and it's usually not even alcohol or any of that. It's usually other stuff, like what they call rape drug, which someone told me that this dude told me it's common for them to do that at parties, but I don't go to parties. I didn't even hang out in my previous situation. Hanging out is boring. It's just standing somewhere all day. I can't do that. I get sleepy easily. Then my blood sugar starts getting low. It's like, no. It's just so much bull crap. I only really go there for canned goods, to be truthfully honest. It's like, I really don't talk to people, so I don't really have a reason to really hang out anywhere all day. But yeah, so then this other guy, this dude that I seen another day, who was talking to the girl about whatever the situation is with the weird library stuff that's not making sense. I don't even know. But yeah, some other guy was like, the police roll through here all the time, and if we get caught with any underage runaways, we go to jail. First of all, why are you guys talking about underage runaways? Like, it's like now they're just like making up stuff and spreading rumors because they're mad that they can't have sex with who they want to have sex with. And that's why I keep saying, it's like, are they sharing the girl? Because it's not even making sense why everybody's mad over this one girl, but then you're mad at me because I agree with the lady you're throwing up all these rules, but yet the girl's never here anyway. When she does show up, she's there for 1 second, then she leaves with the dude. So what are these rules gonna do for somebody that's always in somebody's car and is never around anyway? It's just out of anger. And then another thing, when you are doing the lay low till 18 thing, or when you're just, I don't know, homeless in general, because people really, really how it goes is that as long as you're under 30, or even if you're in your 30s, people feel like you're in the situation you're in because you're hiding from somebody. When it's not the whole drug mentally ill accusation, which commonly this goes hand in hand with that, because bad, crazy, and slow pretty much all means the same thing, and so a lot of different accusations and labels fall under that. But when it's not those specifically, people feel like you're hiding from someone, you're running from somebody and being quote unquote bad because you had to get out of a bad situation, or still your situation's your fault because you're bad and you got kicked out. And that's like when you're under 30, or even sometimes when you're in your 30s. So pretty much, people always feel like you have somewhere to go. What point was I getting at with that? I don't even remember. People always feel like there's somewhere you're supposed to be that you're not at. And it was supposed to go into something. Okay, so what I was getting into was the whole you're a minor, you're underage, or just the whole you're a runaway thing, regardless of how old you are, or the you're kicked out thing, regardless of how old you are. What I was gonna say is that anytime somebody claims they don't want to be around you, or they don't want to even talk to you, or give you I don't know, a sandwich, or be in the same proximity as you because they think you're underage, or just they think you're kicked out or run away in general, watch that person. That person, one, doesn't care, and they want an excuse to not help you with anything. And I'm not even asking anybody for help, but anyway, they want an excuse to not help you with anything because they really don't care, and they feel like you're a bad influence or a risk because you're quote unquote bad and grown. Two, they just want to have sex with you, and then that's pretty much it. It just stops there. It's nothing else. It's one of the two. And then that same dude that said the whole police bull crap was like, Mojo's caters to that. I still haven't been able to find that place 'cause I was trying to shower there, but I ended up showering at the quote unquote Pond or Ponderosa or whatever in the world. But I mean, they're just making up stuff, of course. So then some lady jumps in and she was like, I don't agree. And since when do we not allow people under 21? And she was like, my kids come here all the time and they're under 21. And what else was it? Because I can't even really see this. Oh yeah, then the other dude, the same one who said the police bull crap, was like, it's not because of your character, because someone said something about you specifically. I think you're cool and all that, blah, 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 blah. But he was talking about some our risk. And that's the thing. That's why that lady shouldn't have said what she said, because now the word's going to spread. And honestly, she's lucky if they don't end up doing something to her. I don't even know why she said that in front of them. And it's like, that's why I've been trying to do things a certain way and say something to the girl specifically. She already barely answered the phone off and on. But it's like, it's really hard to. It's like she really hasn't been anywhere without him since I've been here. And she's supposed to be leaving soon, and I kind of wonder if she's going to be with him. It just really seems like, I don't really know. She's probably been lying about so much stuff throughout this whole situation, where she's probably been with the dude the whole however long. And the thing is, she did something that I specifically tell people not to do in the videos about how to like leave an abuse situation. She left with people, and the common way that goes when you try to like have a quote unquote run group is that nobody really ends up getting along. Some people's trauma symptoms make them really, really dangerous, so they're on something, or they're like predatory and they may like sexually assault you, or they may fight all the time, or they're running from the police because of some crime they committed due to something with their abuse situation. Not like defending themselves from an abuser, but like selling drugs or something. So one girl in the run group went to jail because she was doing graffiti And apparently she was already running from the cops anyway or something like that. Or she just drawing too much attention to herself by doing graffiti. And then, I don't know how old she was. I think maybe she was a 16-year-old one that actually showed them how to get to this place. And then if I remember it right, there was one boy. That's who I used to think she was talking about when she would be saying, my boyfriend, quote unquote. But honestly, now I kind of wonder. But I do remember at one point she started saying X. So, I don't know. Anywho, yeah, there was that. And obviously they all split up. It also makes me think back to this one comment that I had seen on this TikTok video of this lady talking about her experiences here and how she finally left once she got off meth. And I even linked this one video where the lady was saying she didn't understand that these people weren't her friends because she was on meth. Honestly, it's not even about the drugs. It's about all the unhealed trauma and the cultiness that goes along with cognitive dissonance in just certain environments. But anyway, there's this one comment from this boy, and he was like, I ran away to Slab City with other teens who were mad at the systems and wanted to go their own way, and it was hell. And honestly, I feel like things are hell depending on how you make it. But I mean, if you really get around certain people, then a situation could definitely be hell when it's already bad enough. When you have to lay low after escaping an abuse situation, or really just escaping the abuse situation. And the fact that it happened in general is kind of hell. But I did say that, like, nothing's wrong being mad at all these systems that are there to torture and abuse people. But I mean, if you really feel some type of way about it and don't want people to have to run away or get kicked out or whatever, just be thrown out on the streets because they're a foster kid, you gotta come together with people who went through that and make something to help everybody out. But I mean, I do wonder if he was one of those people from the run group or some other situation. Either way, I don't know if he's the same boy or not, but I do wonder what all he witnessed and what all happened with him. But I mean, I would never advise staying in a homeless camp. While I was told about this place and did want to see how it was, I did overall come out here for like crystal mining more than anything. And I didn't have plans on staying here long. I mean, nobody really does because it's about to get hot anyway. It's about to be 120, 130, so you have to leave at a certain time anyway. And I did see that the people that stay year round usually have more issues, but I have other stuff to do anyway. And I've actually been trying to like get back on track of doing what I came here to do, which is whole looking for crystals and stuff. But I definitely did stumble across something that I kind of did wonder about because, like I said, I mean, I knew that somebody else was taking the picture, somebody was driving her somewhere, so it wasn't really making sense. But honestly, I was kind of surprised she was even still here. It seems she moves around so much. But I remember even before she told me about the place and other people had told me about the place, I kind of did wonder about how the slabs were. I used to think that it was like just a bigger version of Skid Row until I started like watching documentaries and stuff. But yeah. Before I go into the rest of the notes that I actually forgot that I had, I'm gonna have to say once again that lady shouldn't have said any of the stuff that she said in front of any of them, or honestly even out loud, to be honest. It did nothing but seemingly run the dude away. I mean, sure, it's only been like a day, but I mean, I would have at least seen the car at least twice driving around. But yeah, so anywho, oh yeah, and then the whole um underage thing, which honestly, I mean, she didn't really say that the girl was underage. She did say that she believes she's at least 18, but I mean, she is 20. But still, it's like she just shouldn't have said any of that because now that people are running around spreading the whole underage runaway lie because they're mad, all that really does is make people think, oh, so that means that the person's even more vulnerable because now I can just hold calling the police on them and getting them arrested and thrown in some prison over their head anytime I want them to do something. Which is what happens. People will be like, even younger people, like I've had people that, I don't even know if those boys were older than 14, but people commonly believe that I'm like 12, especially white people. White people refuse to believe that I'm older than 12. So I've had boys that were probably like, I don't know, 14, I really can't tell, maybe 16, This was a few years ago, and they believed that I was 13, and so they were like, if you don't do this, this, and that with us, then we're just gonna call the police and you're gonna go to jail for being homeless underage. Which I still didn't do any of that stuff, and I was eventually able to get them away from me. In fact, the boy's friend really wanted him to leave, and honestly, I felt bad because, of course, he was another molested person who became really messed up, and I told him that I get how that could happen and how you could end up messed up from that. And I kind of was similar to him at some points in my life, but you got to fight those issues and work through the self-deliverance and stuff on your own, because really your parents don't care. Nobody's going to help you do that. And if you don't fight all the demons you get from that, you're just going to end up becoming what hurts you or worse. So that's the issue you really got to deal with on your own, regardless of how young you are. But anywho, yeah, so people will dangle that over your head. As I was leaving, I kind of got into an argument with the quote unquote lemon dude. And the thing is, it's not like I was trying to sit there, because I don't like hanging around people, especially not a lot of people. And it's been a lot of people there lately. I really was just looking for more fruit cups, but anywho, while leaving, he was, of course, still yelling, specifically him, and it's him specifically because since he knows that I agree with the lady, he knows that I'll probably never have sex with him, and that's what all this is really about. But still, he's talking about some stealing beers off the table. I don't even drink or eat after people, and honestly, most people do, and I have no idea why, but like, not only do I not drink, but I don't drink or eat after people. So now you're running around telling people that I've been stealing your beers off the table. It's like, you're that mad over. It's just so stupid. It's like nobody's even showering out here, and everybody's fighting over people, no showers, and everybody's fighting over sex. Like, really? It's just so. Everybody's fighting over making a new strand of some disease. Who wants chlamydia next? That's how it really is, though, to a certain extent. But also, the biggest issue is people are fighting over having sex with the youngest people possible. Because, like I said in the other video, it's not even just the paraphilia side. The way people see it is that the homeless youth, a lot of them still have teeth. Some of them aren't on drugs yet, or they're not on hardcore drugs where they're like falling apart and stuff. They may not have an STD, possibly. They may still actually have hygiene and keep themselves clean because they're not too like broken mentally to where they don't take care of themselves. They look better. The boys and the girls, the younger ones. Well, this is sounding really bad, but this is the way that people see it anyway. And to be truthfully honest, that's what happens when you see people as nothing but objects, which also means you see yourself as an object too. But there's so much I could say about that, and that's gonna go into the video that I really need to actually really remember to make about getting over sexual addiction. Because the hypersexuality agenda, the anti-humanism, pro-transhumanism, which all ties into sexual perversion and a lot of other things, it's really pushed people to see themselves and others as nothing but objects, to look a certain way and act a certain way. It's all really superficial. And the thing is, this actually goes into something I was supposed to talk about. How the whole not being taught to have morals can lead to paraphilias. Because the thing is, like I've said before, pedophilia, just like with other paraphilias, but pedophilia specifically, and incest, is allowed in family systems by the family and the parents. And it's commonly even taught, and it's ignored because you don't really usually just become a pedophile or develop paraphilias when you become, I don't know, 18, 19, 20, 30, or 16. It's something that starts when you're really young, usually, commonly after something happens or after you fall into porn or something like that, or just generational iniquity. But that's when it happens and it's ignored by the parents they're taught. Like my sister, my older enabler sister, when she found out about my evidence channels, when CPS had snitched about them, she started like removing some of her videos because she had her own videos about different things that happened, where she, of course, left out the other people's stuff. But yeah, so still. And in one of the videos, she talked about how one of the times she was kicked out when all my older siblings, at least on my mom's side, were kicked out underage. She had this one boyfriend who was about 19. She was 14 or 15. And his mom was bisexual, and she had some other paraphilias. And of course, she taught her kids to be that way too, of course. And for whatever reason, he didn't like for his mom to be called gay, even though she had a girlfriend and a boyfriend. But I remember my sister was talking about that part in the video, and that was honestly kind of funny. But anywho, so he was a pedo, and his mom allowed it and even taught him to do it. And his mom even got mad at my sister because she wouldn't sleep with him. And the mom kept trying to make and watch them sleep together. And it was a whole bunch of weird stuff. And my older neighbor sister didn't want to do it. And the mom even tried to force her to give him kids. And she was like, all my other kids have kids. And it's not even the age people are having kids. It's actually like the way people are quote unquote raised these days, and the fact that there's no marriage and that they're having kids with people that they shouldn't, for reasons they shouldn't, commonly behind SA. That's actually the real issue, because having a baby as a teenager wasn't always like what it is now. But it's the same when people no longer feel like, well, it's the same when people feel like you either shouldn't get married at all or you should only get married when you're like 70, and that's not how things always were. In fact, I mean, even just a few generations ago, people would like get married at 14, although commonly the people that they shouldn't have, which cause a lot of issues too. But it's like things have just changed, and it's not the age people are having kids, it's the situations. You're not even quote unquote raised to become an adult or like to become a functioning person. You're quote unquote raised to be just really messed up and age regressed, and to be running around trying to find yourself and heal for forever, and you're infantilized. You're not allowed to use a microwave or to use a stove till you're 30. And your parents raise you to become their boyfriend or girlfriend so they'll never be lonely, so they can always have an emotional and physical punching bag and all that stuff. It's like, that's why it doesn't work out. Same thing with sibling SA, which commonly the same people who grow up to be these pedos also sexually abuse their siblings, but the parents teach them to do that. And if they don't straight up tell them to, they allow, which is still the same thing. So the parents allow it, and then the person just ends up more messed up over time. In fact, jezebelic parents, especially honestly the moms and the dads, but the moms do it in more of a more covert way. They tend to be really covertly sexually abusive and really confuse you about boundaries and what you should and shouldn't do to people and around people, and what you shouldn't say to people and things like that. Anyway, I just remembered a video that I re-uploaded from like 2023 where I was talking about a situation that was kind of like this. So, this girl and her sister, one was 12, one was 16. They both were the same size though. They were both fighting over the same boy who both of them had slept with, because apparently the younger sister, quote unquote, sleeps with all her boyfriends. Now the boyfriend was like 15, 14, 15. I think he was 15, almost 16. It was something like that. And she almost wanted to fight me too, but I was like, I'm not fighting over Pablo because I don't. So, of course, they both had attachment issues. They both had been through a lot of abuse. In fact, due to all the abuse, they lived with their grandma, who was also abusive. And the younger sister also had gotten into it with the older sister, because the older sister was like, even though our grandma treats us like crap, you still shouldn't be arguing with her and fighting her, because she's all we have and she's the only place we have to stay, the only person that feeds us, so you might as well be grateful. Now, the girl was obviously manifesting, and I could tell that she was manifesting a lot of stuff because, of course, both of them had been through all types of sexual, physical abuse and neglect. And the girl actually even went to the same alternative school that I went to, which really, it wasn't a real school, but I already have a video about the whole fake school thing. But yeah, So, of course, she was in a bad situation because you end up in placements like that because of your parents. So, anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. People who've never been taught morals don't know what to do and what not to do. So, that's why a 15-year-old was willing to even have sex with a 12-year-old or really anybody. So, there's that. But yeah, when you're not taught any better, you don't really see anything wrong with it. And as somebody who, well, my mom dated people that were like her age, that were like really the same age, but they were always close in age. My dad was very different. And of course, both of my parents, honestly, I feel like most people have been molested, but both of my parents were molested. Their first boyfriend and girlfriend were pedos. And my dad also was sex trafficked. And then there was that. And so, he always dated people that were way younger than him. Like, I just found out that my old quote unquote stepmom only recently turned, like, I don't know, 34, 38, something like that. That's kind of a big gap, but still way younger than he is. Way younger. In fact, I remember always being told that she was my dad's baby sister's age. So pretty much she was like 19, 20. And due to all the stuff that she went through, she actually was a nurse and everything. So she was paying all the bills. And that's something else I don't get. Why do people get with pedos just to take care of them? You get with somebody who's way older than you, and they're supposed to play a parent role, but then you pay the bills for them. They live in your house. They drive your car. That does not make any sense, and it never did. It didn't make sense to me when I was 7, and it doesn't now. It makes absolutely no sense. You get with older people because you feel like you can't fit in with people your age because you're too mature. Just things with your situation. And honestly, if you're not around people your age, then maybe you just shouldn't date anybody anyway. You really shouldn't. If you have certain mindsets, you really just shouldn't. You should really focus on yourself, to be honest. But I don't even know what I was about to say. Anywho, back to the notes. After the whole stealing drinks off the table bullcrap, I don't even know where in the world that came from. Obviously, just the top of his head. He probably was high on something. So, he was like, end of discussion. This argument is done. I'm done talking about it. And it's like, so now he's yelling at me. And it's like, I didn't come here to fight anybody. I came here not for that. And like, I don't. It's like, why? And that's something else that I notice. Every time I go somewhere, I always have people acting like I came for them. Like, who are you? Who are you people? I don't get that. I hate that. It's like, I have a whole bunch of racial stuff happen where I get told to go back to Mexico, or I have run-ins with the cops who see me as a new homeless kid that's just going to be out there for the rest of my life. Like, I remember when I was visiting Manhattan, and the police had finally, like, really found out about me, or not found out about me, but they noticed me. They felt like I was never going to leave. They felt like I was going to be another homeless kid that was going to be there for the rest of my life, becoming addicted to drugs, getting trafficked, losing my mind. Pretty much they saw me as another person that was going to be one of the city's victims, that they were going to victim blame and act like they don't know what happened. But I kept saying, I'm only visiting, I'm not even going to be here. And then the cop was like, that's what everybody says. There's normal, everyday kids out here becoming addicted to crack and all that. Because, of course, they don't care about anybody. They just want. There's so much I could say about that. But I don't like every time I go somewhere, people act like me going there is about them. And I feel like it's just really. I don't know, need to avoid more toxic environments, which I usually do. I really don't talk to people, like I said, but it was kind of like, I did need to, like, ask people around and ask people about how things work and where to go for different things. But I don't like how people are, like, acting like, I said like so many times. It's just not about him. That's the end of the discussion, but they feel like it's about them because they want to have sex with somebody so bad. But it's really not about them. I'm not here for them. Or this. I do wonder how long this has been going on, though. It really does make me wonder. I do know that the girl claims this has been her best year in the slabs, and she supposedly usually sleeps in a hammock and some other stuff. Oh, yeah, I remember this now. So, she was talking about this has been her best year here, and she can't wait till next winter, and this year went better than all the other years, and she was able to quote unquote sleep in some friends' vehicles. Luckily this time, it makes me wonder. But I mean, have you really not done this before? And if this is really your first time, did you just meet this dude this go round? It just makes me wonder. Okay, so I remember what I was supposed to say way back when I mentioned the whole thing with my dad and the no morals thing. Now, the thing is, like I said before, I already started researching all this stuff really, really young, so the thing is, I already pretty much knew better. But I can definitely say once the psychotropic thing happened, the issues that I actually had, especially the sexual ones, because that really was like the issue that I really had that, of course, nobody cared about. Because with the cash for kids system labels, you're just somebody's paycheck and being made to feel like everything that happens is your fault. But none of the issues you actually have matter. So the issues I actually had got worse when the whole psychotropic thing happened. So I got more hypersexual. Well, I would say I got more paraphilic, if anything. So while the age gap may not seem that big to some, I do remember specifically a lot of people confronting me about the fact that, like, I was 13, but the boys, or my boyfriend was 11, my quote unquote boyfriend was 11, or I was 14, but my boyfriend was 12, or I was 13, but no. I was 13, but the guys I liked were 11, and I was 14, but my boyfriend was 12. And, I really started to think more about it though when this lady in my neighborhood called me a cougar. And there was this other situation with this girl who was sexually acting out a lot. She was 11. The dude she was getting with were 15 though. But it still did make me think. And she was another person that I ended up talking to about her situation. It seems like I always end up getting around other BPD like people, but ones on certain spectrums where they just can't stay away from pedophiles because of low self-esteem or being easily manipulated. That's the whole video of its own, which I plan to make a video about autism and PDs, which is going to go into that. But yeah, so like I said, I had already researched a lot of this stuff really young, so I kind of already really knew better, and I had to stop. The thing is, age gaps may not be that bad when you're older, but when you're like certain ages, I won't even say when you're really young, when you're certain ages, the age gap is like worse. Like, I mean, it's one thing if you're 50 and you're dating somebody who's 60, but if you're like if you're like 11 and you're dating somebody who's 9, then it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. And like I said, it was really hard for me to get over these issues when I was in my abuse situation. But getting over a lot of things has been easier since getting out. But I could still say I had to do what I had to do then to work through all these issues. Because I was like, I really just can't do this because I know that it's not right. And it's just not going to end well and it's demonic anyway. So I had to stop doing all that. And the thing is, it's not even that the age gaps were necessarily always bad, but it's like, what's really the thought process behind it? And even the generational curses behind it. But I remember specifically, it was just that I just wanted to be with someone who was younger than me. And I thought that younger people looked better. And that's the objectification and paraphilias and type of demonization that'll, of course, have you be in one of the many types of chomos. Because you'll be like, this and that happened when I was this age, so I didn't get to really have a childhood, so I'm attracted to people at this age, and I've studied at this age, and I like certain things about people at a certain age, and they look a certain way at a certain age that I like. And if you have that mindset and you're thinking like that, just know you're heading down a dark, deep, dark, terrible path of destruction in fire and flames. Well, literally, I was actually thinking about what you're gonna probably end up doing to other people, but literally, you're heading towards fire and flames. But yeah, I don't know what it was, but like at a certain point in my situation, that fake school, and then all the different drugs. It's like the sexual issues got way worse, and it's like it just really messed me up. But yeah, so there was that, and I'll talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff in the sexual addiction video. But like my mom said, and like other people have said, I'm really good at figuring out information on my own, and that's why real knowledge actually matters, because that's how you learn what you need to learn to get over these issues and to work through these issues. Because to be truthfully honest, like I've said before, and a lot of people would tell me, oh, you're just putting yourself down and don't be like that. But it's like, really though, when I see people who act like these dudes, I see what I honestly could have ended up being. That's what I really see. Because I was so messed up from a really young age. Like, honestly, kind of the way that they act, I acted like that at 8. I calmly say I've been rehabilitating myself because I really have. It's definitely been some rehabilitation. But this is way too long though. So that's that.